But anyway, tackle tricks, and we can go ahead and get started. All right, are you guys all familiar with the dyes and everything out there? Oh yeah. Dude, I have like 4 bottles of spray in my boat at all times. Have you seen the spray they've got? Dippin' Dye's got an actual spray. You probably don't see them at Bass Pro because every time I go in there, I buy every single one I can find. And really, it's because the Spike It, like the jar, I've had so many incidences where it spills and gets all over the carpet. They make a neutralizer, and you can actually put it on there, and it'll really work. It'll get rid of that chartreuse. But the pens are outstanding. I usually carry one in my frog box. I've got them in several different boxes. My grubs and some of my biffle bugs. I like to keep a pen in there. There's just times where you really want to put a little orange to it and you want to add some chartreuse. I mean, they really show up in that UV light. And if bass, you know, we all hear that UV is a big deal. And chartreuse, obviously. One of the things about chartreuse, if you've ever watched a panic bluegill or seen anything like that where they're just a fleeing action, which really triggers fish to bite, there's that chartreuse that glims out of it. And I really think that adding a little bit of chartreuse really gives you a target for the fish, and you know, it just helps. So the spray is awesome because a lot of baits, and you'll see where they have like a chartreuse tail to them or something like that. I'd rather just get a watermelon bait or green pumpkin bait and take that spray the tail. I probably should have a picture of that on there, but it blends in so perfectly, and it doesn't get all over the place and on your fingernails and everything. So when you go shake hands at the end of the day, you don't look pretty nasty. But yeah, so like, you know, tails, soft plastics, the legs of frogs. You know, a lot of my frogs, I change legs out. I talked about it next door a little bit over by the hog trough, but I change out my legs, and I start usually with some kind of an opaque color. For the most part on most of my frogs, unless it's a black frog. But I'll get a white frog going, and sometimes I take that little spray and spray the tips of the tails of the legs. And that little extra flicker, I think sometimes when you're fishing a frog really slow, it brings the bait up, the bluegill, to want to nip on the deal, and it gets the bass excited. I always use a bluegill pattern frog, even on a mayfly hatch, because the bluegills are up there eating the mayflies. Add a little chartreuse to it, and you know, and then the orange throat. Always put an orange throat on that frog. It's a target. I mean, I've got a box of just white frogs. You know, again, it's kind of like what I did with this snag-proof frog. You know, it's the Fred frog. I made it with the orange throat.